Today is part 2 of the Effective Content Podcast, and we're talking about how to build a business without needing a big following. So keep listening. Hi, I'm Brandon Lucero, and you're about to experience the new way to thrive in business, entrepreneurship, and life by leaning into who you are, what you love, and standing up for what you want to create. Get ready, because this is where we go against the grain, say no to outdated society norms, and we say yes to change in order to create a happier, more fulfilled world. Welcome to the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to part 2 of this 2-part series about effective content. So I'm just going to get into it. I don't know how long this episode is going to be. Hopefully you have seen the Content Revolution video series, and that kind of reveals everything. So there's not really, I don't feel like much left for me to say. If you have not seen the Content Revolution video series, I would head over there and go watch it now. If you have watched it, here's a couple things to keep in mind. Number one, remember, there are so many layers to what we do to find really effective messaging. And as you can tell, there's a little bit of psychology involved in it. There's a little bit of self-development, remembering who you are. Then it has to be connected to your product and your offer. And we're going to talk about that today. But just remember, no matter how mind blown you get from the video series, there are more things that you need to take into consideration that you may not have been revealed yet. I can't reveal the entire process to you in a 1-hour video series. And there's exercises and processes that you have to go through and self-discovering that you have to go through in order to put all these pieces together. Then there's processes and frameworks and strategies to make everything really effective. And I know that a lot of you watching this series feel like and are super excited to go put it into action. You're like ready to go. You're mind blown. Like, oh my God, I never realized all this stuff before. But I'm telling you now, the full curtain hasn't even been revealed to you yet. And that's why I love our program so much, is it's one of these things that you go through several times, and as you grow and improve, you go through it again, and it's more mind-blowing connections and stuff like that. It's the program is more of a process to put all of it and pull all of it together. And it has to be done in a certain way. And basically what I'm saying is, if you're on the fence about joining, you think you have everything you need from the video series, you have all of the ingredients. But now we need to show you what to do, and that's what the program is. And if you're ready for it, I would love to see you inside the program. And we'll talk about more in that in a second, because I want to talk about one thing we need to talk about in this 2-part episode of Effective Content is your content needs to drive sales. You have to remember, at the end of the day, it's called content marketing, and marketing delivers sales. It doesn't deliver followers. Okay, so we just get that out of the way now. Content is called content marketing. It's not called content follower increase. It's called content marketing, and marketing should be bringing in sales. And a lot of people aren't taking into consideration how their program, your product, your content is connected to your let me rephrase that. A lot of people aren't taking into consideration how your content, your messaging relates to the sale, the program, increasing sales, your offer. And it's almost like people just go, I'm going to create content that's going to get the most amount of followers, and then the followers are just going to buy because they trust me. And it's like, yeah, no, it doesn't work like that. That's why there's 1.5 million Instagram influencers that have no money. They work jobs. They're broke. They do endorsement deals because that's the only way they can make money. And a lot of them make great money doing that. But as a business, we've got to remember, we are a business. That's what we're here to do. We're here to sell our services, our programs, and our courses. We're a freaking business. We're not influencers. I mean, we might be to some level, but we're not here. Like, if your goal is to go get 1 million Instagram followers, like, I'm not here to serve you. Go do something else with your time. I'm here to show people that have a real product, an offer, a course, or a program or service that is going to help people. And then they know that they have to put content out there to bring in people, because it's marketing. Now, we can craft powerful messaging and powerful content based off of values and beliefs so that we are creating change at the same time. But we have to make sure this is all connected. And again, this is why we have 7,000 Instagram followers, but a multi-million-dollar business. So I'm going to talk about some of the tactical things here, because there's something we didn't talk about in the video series that is inside the Video 4X program. And I think this is really going to help you guys, especially since, there's less than 24 hours left for you to enroll. There's something that you need to understand. This is a very tactical thing. We talk about this inside the program. But number one, yes, we have 7,000 Instagram followers. But what most people don't recognize is that when I put my content on Facebook and I put my content on Instagram, we're running like things like through play campaigns, video view campaigns. I'm getting exposure on my content. In fact, we have a video right now. Should show you the power of right content and messaging. We have a video right now that I'm running to cold traffic. I'm saying, hey, Facebook, show this video to people that are entrepreneurs, that have courses, that have never heard of me before. Just run this to them. And on average, 70% of people that video is shown to, it's getting an average watch time of 70%, meaning every single person that video gets shown to, on average, is watching 70% of the video. Now think about that for a second. That's cold traffic. I'm interrupting their day. I'm interrupting their news feed scrolling, placing a video there, and on average, cold traffic, never heard of me before, are watching it 70% of the way through. Now we have about, maybe 200,000 views on that video. I'm paying under a penny per view. So that may have cost me, I can't do the math right now, but let's just call it $2,000. It cost me $2,000 to get 200,000 people to watch that. And on average, they're watching it 70% of the way through. Now I can go to Facebook and say, hey, Facebook, create an audience of people that have watched this 50% of the way through. And what they're going to do, let's just call it 150,000 of those people out of the 200,000. They're going to say, okay, cool. 150,000 out of that 200,000 have watched this 50% of the way through. And I say, great. Let me run another video to them. It's going to cost me maybe 3-5 cents. And now it's a connection video, and I'm in there and I'm connecting with them. They watched, like, maybe it's a how-to or a thought reversal video, and now I'm showing them a connection video. Now they know I'm knowledgeable and I'm teaching in a way they've never heard before. And then now they're connecting with me on a deeper level. And I say, hey, Facebook, out of those 150,000 people, create a new audience that watched the second video 50% of the way through. And they go, okay, cool. 125,000 people have watched that one 50% of the way through. And I go, okay, cool. What I have just done for very little money is I just created an audience of 125,000 people that know who I am, what I stand for, what I do, what my beliefs are, what my values are. And they connect with me on the same exact things. And then they saw the other video. They saw the thought reversal, the how-to video that talked about my unique solution. It talked about the video 4X effect. It talked about all of these things. It talked about what thought reversal videos are. And now I have 125,000 people that have heard me teach something they never heard before, presented specific problems that they're having. They're connecting with me. And did 125,000 of those people go over and follow me on Instagram? No, they did not. Maybe a few of them did, but I don't really give a crap if they do or they don't. What I care about is serving those 125 people on a deeper level. So now, those 125,000 people. So now I can invite them into a webinar, a video series, a challenge, or something like this. This is the thing that most people don't recognize. Is when our content and messaging is so dialed in, we can literally place our content in front of the right people at the right time with the right message, and we can start to transform them into students, into customers. We can get them to love our message. And sure, if I really wanted to, I could send them an email and run them an ad to go like me on Instagram and all of those things. But because of this process, we're creating hidden audiences that most people can't see. I get DMs all the time. I get DMs all the time from people that are like, hey, we can help you scale to 6 figures. We can help you scale to 6 figures. Because they assume like, okay, cool, he's a business owner. He runs a course. He's probably trying to get to 6 figures because he doesn't have a lot of followers. He only has 7,000 followers. And they know typically that people that have 7,000 followers or under 10,000 probably are struggling to get to 6 or 7 figures. So they just automatically will DM, I can help you get to 6 figures. And I'm like, dude, we just spent over 6 figures last month. Like, just can you help us get to 8? Because that's where we're going. But that's the whole point is people don't know and can't see these invisible things going on. And this is the power of messaging. Like, will the content or your content and messaging that you learn in the video 4X help you get more followers? Yes, of course. If you already have followers, will it help you connect with them? Yes, of course. But I believe the magic in this is being able to create audience that resonates with you on such deep levels at your command. That's the secret here. If you guys could only see how fast we could build internal audiences, that you would be running to inside the course to go learn exactly what we're teaching in there. You'd be running to learn the messaging, because yes, all I have to do is click a few buttons. I can show you the strategy of how to run a throughplay campaign, but the magic is in the messaging. The magic is in the content. There's a reason why I can put a video out in front of cold traffic and get 70% average watch time. There's a reason why that's happening, and it's not because I just spoke from the heart. It's because I was strategic in what I was saying. Yes, I crafted the message from the heart, but then I put it into a framework of how to communicate that so that the subconscious mind goes, wow, contrast, I've never heard it this way. That makes so much sense. Oh my God, blowing my mind. Okay. There's a process and a system to being able to do that. And so what we have to do is we have to look at what is our offer and what is our program, and how do we communicate our content, and how is it all connected? How do we connect our message to our program and our offer? And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. So obviously, if you've watched the video series, then you know we need a unique solution. Break this down very simple for you. Once we understand what the unique solution is, then what we get to do is that becomes our North Star for our educational content. So for me, we have 4 pillars. We have impact and revenue goals. We have impactful messaging, synergistic strategy, and workflows. Those are the 4 pillars, so that the content is hands-off for you, the entrepreneur. You will never see me do a how-to or educational video that does not fall underneath one of those 4 pillars. And then when I start talking about it, I can always go, okay, that's, today we're going to talk about thought reversal videos, which is pillar number 2 of the video 4X effect. And I just start referencing all these different pillars and referencing the unique solution. So when people consume my content and they see my values, they see my beliefs, they see whatever, they start to recognize, okay, they're the struggling avatar and they want to be the future-paced hero. They start realizing there's a demand there, like a demand gap. They start recognizing, oh man, I'm this person that Brandon's talking about that's having all these issues, and I need to be on the other side of that. They start realizing that your unique solution. So for me, they start realizing the Video 4X methodology is what they need. Well, guess what? I sell the Video 4X methodology. So what starts to happening is my messaging ecosystem will start to create demand for that offer. And yes, that will happen organically. But if we take that same process and put it to cold traffic, we start to build these internal audiences that want what we sell before they know anything is for sale. And this is how we've been able to grow a multiple 7-figure business with a relatively small following. We don't have a big following. I mean, I guess that's all relative. We don't have a big following compared to a lot of, like if you were to take everyone who had a 7-figure business selling courses and services online, and you compared how big their followings were, like our following's probably at the bottom of that barrel, although we have the same results as they do. And it's because of those things. You don't need a big following. Will this help you build a following? Yes, of course, but we don't need a big following in order to generate sales. I don't want you to have to wait to have 100,000 fans on Instagram in order to have a 7-figure business. It can happen way earlier than that. And if you do have 100,000 fans and you're still not seeing the results that you want or the sales revenue, or you're at multiple 7 figures, again, there's probably something wrong with the messaging. Your messaging may not be fully related and connected over to your offer, to your program. And so we want to start bridging that gap. And so one of the ways to do that is kind of like what I just said. Figure out your unique solution. You only do content around that solution. And then now it's all connected, right? You can say, okay, this is pillar number 2 of the unique solution, my methodology, blah, 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 blah. The only way they can access the methodology is through buying your course, your program. Now, there's one other way we can do this. We talk a lot about deeper purpose. And we may have talked about it a little bit in the video series. But what your deeper purpose is it's something deeper than just your why. So we hear a lot of people will say things like, I'm a copywriter, so I help people write better copy so they can make a bigger impact. And it's like, no. That's the result you bring. When 10,000 people have that result, what's created in the world? When 10,000 people have impactful copy and are making an impact, what happens? Well, we start to craft a better world for our kids because our kids are now more empowered. Okay, great. Now we're getting to the deeper purpose. But if we can start to create, and then still we can get even more unique than that, but let's just go with it for the sake of this conversation. When we start putting out content around our deeper purpose, about here's what I stand for. I help kids follow their passion more, and I do that through helping people write impactful copy, blah, 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 blah. you get something that people will rally behind. People aren't going to rally behind you helping people write better copy, but they will rally behind you creating a better world for kids. Now, when people love that deeper purpose and they start following you and like, oh, I really love this person's teachings. I really love what they stand for. I really love like this deeper purpose that they have. They can become a part of that movement or that deeper purpose by joining the program. So my deeper purpose is I help create a better world for my kids by ending society norms that are keeping people trapped. I believe there's a lot of norms out there that cause people a lot of suffering. Like people think they have to go to college to be successful and they can't really follow their passion. I help people, entrepreneurs like you, break those society norms down and create a better world for my kids. So when my kids come up into the world, they know, hey, it's easy to follow your passion. You can follow your passion. You don't have to be successful just by going to school, blah, 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 blah. Now, when I tell people that message, it usually resonates with entrepreneurs, but when you join the Video 4X, you become a part of that deeper purpose. That is how you get to be a part of the movement. And if you can create a movement within your brand, the way people join that movement and take part in that is by enrolling in your program and becoming a part of the community. I start talking about my deeper purpose, and a lot of 4Xers will join it because they want to be part of that movement. They want to be the person who disrupts their space and disrupt in a good way, disrupt the things that are causing suffering. That's what they want to do. Usually a lot of people will join the program because they want to break down the old ways that are causing people suffering. And that's very much my deeper purpose, is like, let's end suffering. And we do that by finding these society norms, using content messaging to destroy them. And a lot of people will join the program so they can learn on how to do that and become part of the deeper purpose. So there's two things here: having that deeper purpose, being connected to the program, and that becomes your connection content. But also we want to make sure that we are talking about our solution inside of our content as well, showing and only doing content that relates back to that unique solution. Okay, so there's kind of two things going on here. Now, since the Video 4X does close today, and I know some of you might be on the fence about enrolling, I just want to say one thing that I think has helped me massively increase my business. And I don't have to convince you that there's a problem. I don't have to convince you that there's an issue. You likely know, which is why you're here, that you have a problem with content and you have a problem with messaging. And I'm willing to bet you've likely tried different things. You've likely gone to other people that have taught messaging and content and it's not working. And you have also likely realized that the way we talk about content and the way we talk about messaging is unlike anyone has ever talked about before in the online space. And I want you to remember one thing. What I'm talking about, these concepts aren't really new. And what I mean by that is this concept of thought reversals, this concept of deeper connection, it has been things that best-selling authors, the best-selling speakers have used for a really long time to build their movements, to get their points across, to evolve society and a lot of things like that. But the online space hasn't existed for very long. And we're bringing all of that stuff down to you guys together to go and get it. And so you likely know there's an issue and there's a problem. And unless that gets fixed, you're likely still going to remain unheard and stuck. And I want to introduce you to the Be Do Have model before we end this podcast episode, because this has literally transformed my business. And if you have heard of it, good. If you have not, then definitely pay attention. One of the things that we do as business owners and as people is we say things like, I really need X, Y, and Z, but I'm going to wait until X, Y, and Z, and then I'm going to do that thing. And then once I do that thing, then I can have the result that I want. So instead of living by be, do, have, we live by have, do, be, which means once I have enough money, then I can run Facebook ads. And once I run Facebook ads, then I can have the $1 million business. But it doesn't work like that. Because what happens when you think like that, you never make the decisions that you need to make. Meaning, if you say, once I have the Facebook ad, or once I have money, then I'll do the Facebook ads. And what you don't realize is the Facebook ads is what brings you the money. And so you just run around always saying, well, once I have, and then nothing ever changes because you're making decisions based off of circumstances. And your circumstances don't change until you change your actions. So instead of saying, I don't have enough money for the Facebook ads, what the $1 million business owner does is they live by be, do, have. They be the $1 million business owner today. What are the decisions that they would make? And what happens, you start saying, instead of the conversation saying, once I have the money for Facebook ads, then I can do this thing. Instead of saying, once I have the money, then I'll do the Facebook ads, they say, I'm going to run the Facebook ads. I'll figure out how to get the money. And they figure out a solution to get the money. But what that decision is they started making decisions that actually produce the results that they wanted. Actions produce results. If you take actions of a broke business owner, or a stuck business owner, then you get results of a stuck business owner or a broke business owner. But if you take the actions of $1 million entrepreneur, then you get the results of $1 million business. And I've had to do this numerous times. When I hired Taylor for the very first time, we were $40,000 in debt. Technically didn't have any money. I had negative money, but I knew I needed to hire her to help me grow this business, to bring structure, to help me launch. And so I hired her, figured out a way to get the money, hired her, and then that allowed me to grow the business. We did $1.2 million in 9 months. Do have. I asked myself, what would the $1 million business owner right now do? Would they hire Taylor? Or would they just say, once I get the money, once I get the money, once I get the money? No, they would hire Taylor. And that's what I did. Because if I just kept saying, once I have, once I have, once I have, I keep making decisions of a broke business owner or a business owner in debt, and I never get myself out of it. So the reason why I tell you this, and the reason I tell you this story is because I know there's a few people here on the call who might be on the fence, and you know that this is what you need, but you're letting your circumstances around you make those decisions instead of being the person you need to be to make the decision you need to get in. And look, if you don't have the money, I'm not telling you to make stupid financial decisions or things like that. But what I am asking you to do is I'm asking you to look at yourself and ask yourself, is this something you need? And are you being the person that is making the decision they need to make in order to grow your business? Because at the end of the day, if you have a problem with messaging and content, what benefit do you get from trying to figure it out yourself? How much money and time are you wasting by trying to figure it out yourself? Because here's the deal, you may never figure it out on yourself. You might, you may not, I don't know. But if this feels like it's the right fit, I would highly encourage you guys to get in quick because depending on when you're listening to this episode, it's going to close. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode and go ahead and join the Content Revolution Facebook group. Get in there, ask any last minute questions. We do have calls. You can try to book a call today, depending on if there's enough time to talk to someone, see if you're a right fit and all that good stuff. But go ahead and do that, and hopefully we'll see you in there. And if you are in there, look forward to helping you with your messaging, and we'll talk to you guys on the next episode. Take care. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out another episode of the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, go below, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you click on that bell icon and get notified every time we drop a new episode. Now, if you're looking for the show notes, we have them linked underneath this video, as well as our social media handles and some links to free training and offers that we drop from time to time to help you guys even further. So go check those out if you're interested, and thank you so much for tuning in to the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast.